What's going on? What's the deal? What's happening? Welcome back to the Clipper My Detroit Ucast. I am your host, Leon Cutham. And today, man, I wish we could drop one of Clue's bombs for this one. I can't? Okay. All right. Doing it anyway! Yeah, we needed one of those. We needed one of those in this interview. We talking about a YouTube personality that documented from day one to the graduation of his journey through barber college. We talking about the owner of the Tennessee Barber Expo, October 24th, 2021, if you ain't know. We talking about one of the members of the Tomb Squad, Tomb 45. We talking about Clean Cuts the One. So yeah, let's dive into this Ucast and step into the lab with Clipper My Detroit.
Quite a while, man, and I think it's amazing that I didn't know that Leon Cutham was Clipper My Detroit. So it's really cool, man. I just want you to know that I see you and everything that you're doing, and it's attractive, man, seeing you putting the podcast, putting the interviews together in the basement. You know what I'm saying? It's
That's
like
right.
You got to start from somewhere. Hey, but sometimes you're still in the same place. You know what I mean? You just gotta do what you got to do.
That's real, man, and I really appreciate that. Definitely, it's like I said, it's an honor, man. So I definitely appreciate that for sure. But let us know a little bit, man. Let us know how you got started, man. I personally know the story, the journey, just from watching you on YouTube. From the days where you used to wear, the fitted caps, and you on your way to school, and you like giving us an update about when you start. But tell the world, man. We wanna know how you got started.
Yeah, so it started off, right before barbering, man. I had just been clean for like 2 or 3 years. I got a whole history of like losing everything, and literally the worst person that you could think of and the worst things that people did, I did all those things. Thankfully I was able to find God, and I found recovery, and I was able to start changing my life. And so I was actually, my son, one of my favorite things to do was cut my son's hair, because I spent a lot of time not being a very good dad. And so one of my favorite things as a dad to do was to cut my son's hair. Like, I felt like a daddy when I did that. And one day, normally I just buzzed his hair. And one day he said, "I want to get a faux hawk." And I'm like, "You're 5. What do you mean you want a faux hawk? You can't. What are you talking about? You want a faux hawk?" And he said, "Yeah, I want a faux hawk." And I was like, "Okay, well, I don't know how to do a faux hawk. Like, I don't know what to do." But in my heart, like, it was important for me to give my son what he wanted. It wasn't about how he looked or looking cool. It was like, dang, like, I really want to do this for my boy, And so I went on YouTube and I started looking up how to do this haircut. And so I learned how to do that haircut. And that time I just gave him a buzz cut. But he didn't know I was going to learn how to do the faux hawk. And I went and I learned how to do this haircut. And as I was watching these videos, man, something happened. Like, I think I was born to be a barber. I was born to cut hair. I was born to serve people. I was born to be in this industry. I was born for this culture, because when I started seeing what Vic Damone was doing, and back then it was Dave Diggs, and I was looking at Kenny Duncan, and I was seeing what all these dudes are doing, and I was like, man, like, this looks like a legitimate lifestyle. And so the more I obsessed about these videos, man, I knew that this was something I wanted to do. And one day my wife walked into the living room, and I'd gone from the laptop to the TV with the videos, and she said, "You're going to do this, aren't you?" And I went to barber school the next day, and I got the kit, and I got the information, and it's a long story about how all that played out, man. But it was a bunch of divine intervention that brought me into school, brought me through school, and that's how I got started.
For sure. Hey, #believer barber, Clean Cuts the One. Make sure y'all go follow him on all the socials, man. This is crazy, but tell us a little bit about barber college, and like, what was that like for you? I personally, like I said, I've seen the journey. I've watched you, from day one to graduation. But I guess the second part of the question is, what would you say to an up-and-coming barber? Maybe one who's starting barber college, maybe one who's contemplating it. Give us some advice, man. Let us know what's up.
Well, what it was like for me, the first part of the question was, I did well. I excelled. I had a grace. Like, I was so in love with everything that had to do with clippers and haircuts and the theory, the everything, man. I was in love with it. So school went well for me. I found sometimes that not, and this isn't like a pride thing. The fact is, like, all the information I was taking in outside of school, I found that I knew a little bit more than sometimes the instructors as far as haircuts and stuff like that. And so it's like I did really well in school. My biggest issue in school was, you know, I was doing the YouTube thing because there's a barber called JP the Barber, Jared Powell. And this dude was filming his early school days. And he was the only barber on YouTube that like showed me what it was like in school. And so I thought, man, there's a bunch of content that I'm looking for that I can't find. So I'm gonna do what Jared did. I'm gonna do what JP did, and I'm gonna film my journey as well. But I'm gonna try to catch some of the stuff that I wish was there. I wish it was there for me, but since it's not there for me, I'm going to put it out there for somebody else. And I just want to give a huge shout out to JP the Barber. I want to honor that dude, man. He's doing great. One of the little known, one of my biggest influences in the early on season. I didn't start this thing, to be honest with you. He did it first. He was the one that really inspired me. You know, some of my hardest times in school was, shout out to all the people that went to school with me that's going to see this video, man. A lot of people were insecure. They used to tell me things like, bro, you just need one clipper, you just need one trimmer. You ain't going to be a good barber and stuff like that. Because I was buying all the clippers, all the trimmer. I was doing all the reviews. Yeah. I was reaching out to people, professionals in their inboxes. I was asking questions. I was traveling, going to shows. School went easy for me, but everybody didn't really support me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Most of my support came from people like yourself and people who recognize the passion and the hunger, and they recognize the why behind the what, and they really, poured into me there. What I would say to a barber now is different than what I would say to a barber then, because when I was taking off about 6 years ago, I guess is when I got started. I went to school in 2015. That's just part of it. So now, what I used to tell people to be successful in school was you're going to have to be busy on social media, be busy on Facebook, make sure every conversation that you're talking about has something to do with haircuts. I would tell you to perform as many free haircuts as you can. I don't care, like free haircuts. And that one still works.
Yeah, of course.
That was the advice back then. It's harder to be a standout right now. The secret to standing out now is your character. You have to be really, really, really about that service life. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of ego. There's a lot of me. There's a lot of I'm shining. This is all about me. You're lucky. I'm the baddest barber. Look at these lines and this and that. And the fact is, there's 100 of those dudes on every corner.
Definitely.
Like, it's a lot of nice barbers everywhere. The difference is your character.
Definitely.
How many free haircuts are you going to do for people that need it? How much do you care about the person that's in your chair? What does your service look like? Are you authentically serving somebody, or in the back of your head, are you just trying to make the line crispy so you could get the extra money? If your motivation is money, you're going to have to work harder. But if you're service-minded, you're going to be planted as a staple in your community as a barber, then you will stand out, because most of these barbers out today are for themselves. That's what I'm seeing.
Now that's some sound advice. That's sound advice. You heard him. It's about the character. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've seen, like you said, everybody has Instagrams. We've seen barbers, whose page look like a portfolio. It's literally, I think Marv speaks about that in his class as well too. Shout out Marv. But it's about the character. What are you selling? Specifically speaking, are you having fun with it? We see Vic Blends. He's going out. He's doing free haircuts on campuses and different parts of the world. And he's just out having fun, making common conversation. So like you said, it's definitely not about, being the best haircutter or anything like that. It's not about the ego. It's about the character. So that I completely agree with that sentiment. But yeah, man, that's crazy. You said 2 kids and a wife?
I got 3 kids.
3 kids and a wife.
14-year-old, got a 13-year-old, and a 7-year-old. Yeah, and I've been married to my wife for 8 years now.
Wow, man, that's crazy. So, like, where are the kids in this process? Like, are they at the point now where they know what they want to be when they grow up? Are they looking to follow in your footsteps as a barber? Like, how has your career affected them?
It's funny that you asked that because, my career has affected my family in all the positive ways. My children don't remember a time when their daddy wasn't there, when he wasn't a praying daddy. They don't remember a time when I wasn't doing the right things. And so barbering literally made a huge difference in that. My wife used to be the primary earner, and I was a stay-at-home dad when I was watching the YouTube video. She was a manager at Cracker Barrel. So the barbering industry brought her out of that role and into a mothering role. We choose to allow, we're blessed to be able to homeschool our children. And so my wife, she stays at the house with the children. She schools them. She's a teacher for some other children as well. And so this industry has allowed me to, basically it's changed everything about my life, man. This industry is a blessing for anybody that really pursues it and grabs a hold of what it has to offer.
And that's facts, man. Wow. That's facts, because we're part of a life-changing industry, So, I mean, not only are we affecting the clients, but, this industry has an effect on our lives as well for the betterment. So, but tell us a little bit about what it was like graduating barber college. Like, what was your next steps after that? I mean, I saw the post where, you're opening your first shop, but what were the steps before that? Like, what did you do right after college?
Well, I had a barber shop called Razor Sharp that reached out to me while I was still in school, and they sent me the offer, and they were the most diverse barber shop in the city. They were doing straight hair, curly hair. They were doing brown folks, white folks, Latino folks. Like, they had everything. It was so eclectic there, man. It was such a welcoming environment that I was like, that's my spot, because I didn't want to get locked into straight hair. To be honest with you, I like cutting curly hair better than straight hair. But it seems like the dynamics in the South, sometimes the white tend to flock to the white and the black to the black. And that's not an overstatement at all, but that's not a blanket statement, I should say, but it's kind of sometimes the reality. For sure. So because this shop was so diverse, I was like, that's the spot for me. And I went there, and I'm so thankful, man. I'd be in the middle of cutting something I was unfamiliar with, and, Wes to the side of me, he'd be like, close the lever. He'd like just kind of give me the eyeball and really helped me out, man. Really nurtured my growth. They allowed me to take appointments. Nobody had taken appointments before. Instead of doing walk-ins, they let me do appointments. They allowed me to bring hot towels and steamers into the shop, and all that was new. They weren't doing any of that. And so they didn't have to let me do that, but they saw I was doing something different. They didn't want to stifle me. I had my booth rent paid every week. And so, they encouraged me to go ahead and do that. And it just kind of came to a time as my vision was developing. The vision that I had was different. I mean, I always had a vision to have my own shop. And so when I could see the differences between my vision and where I was at, there was just time when it was just, it's time to just make the jump. There's no easy way to step out of something comfortable and then take a risk on, so you're already supporting your whole family. But so anybody out there looking to open up a shop, it's not going to be easy. You're going to get the butterflies. It's going to feel like you're jumping off a cliff. You don't get to escape that. That's part of what grants you access into the fraternity of business ownership, shop ownership. Like, that's what makes you an entrepreneur, is you're willing to take the risk because you believe in yourself. Like, you bet on yourself. You know that you're going to get it done. And so, I did what Josh did before me, and I do what every other shop owner and business entrepreneur does. And I just went and I found a building. I took the leap, and God had grace on everything that I touched as I went, because I couldn't do it myself. The first shop that I found, like the first building that I found, the rent, super cheap. Dude threw me the keys before I even told him I want the place. I had so much just favor. You know what I mean? Like, some of the scenarios that worked themselves out, I couldn't have made them happen. And so basically I just, when I knew that it was time, I took the leap. And keep in mind, this whole time I'm talking about character, right? I've been doing work on character since I started getting clean. Okay. And so a lot of that character work and a lot of that service work starts with working on me, figuring out what my issues are, and a lot of people can do that different ways, but learning about, some of the pride that I've got in my life and some of the things that make me go astray, and when I put my needs above other people's needs and how that kind of messes up, you don't want to mess up the church's money. And so sometimes you can make up a selfish decision that affects people all around you. And so this whole time I'm focusing on what's my why behind my what are my motives? Like, am I feeling particularly intense about this thing? And so I'm submitting all of those things to God as I go. And I'm saying, God, just do with my life whatever you want to. And he just did, man. because I was looking to do the right thing, the right way, for the right reason, to the best of my ability. And I was wrong a lot. I made a lot of mistakes and continue to make a lot of mistakes. But continuing to pursue, that was just enough to get me to the next step.
And that's crazy. That's inspirational, man. You know, the plans of the diligent surely succeed. So, it's exciting, man. Just even this next question, just even to think about how you went from changing your life, starting barber college, to being a part of Tomb 45, the Tomb Squad. Like, you know what I'm saying? So tell us a little bit about that, man. How did the Tomb 45 thing come about?
So I was doing the interview, or I was doing the YouTubes. I was reviewing every product, like every product in the industry. I didn't care what it was. Give it to me. I'm doing it. And so, I don't even remember how, man. Bossio sent me 2 shave gels, this new product he was coming out with. And I had talked to him like in DMs. I was asking him about haircuts. He had probably 70,000 followers at this time. I mean, he's well over, like up in 500,000 now, somewhere around there. But he was big, but he wasn't that big,
right.
And he was talking to me. He was spending time with me, and he still does that today. Don't let that be misconstrued. Like, a lot of time.
Shout out Bossio, man.
What I'm saying is, like, I was paying attention to that before, like, he popped off. So, like, I was locked in. I could see that there was something special about what was happening here. And so he sent me 2 shave gels. Maybe I asked him for shave gel to do a review on. I'm not sure. Either way, 2 shave gels ended up in my hands. I said, I'm going to do a review on one, and I'm giving the other one away to my subscribers. We did the review, and one day I'm at my house, and I got a call from Daniel Santana, Tomb Doc, on Instagram.
Okay.
And it was Bossio and him on 3-way. He said, Tyler, we want you to come to Florida. We want to talk to you about something. And I'm like, okay. So I come down there. Man, I'm down there, 360 Jeezy's down there, Matt Gifted Hands, Christian Perez, Chris Loco, Yo Fons, Bossio's there. Who you know now is the original founders of the Tomb Squad. The Tomb Squad was founded that night. And Initially, it was just supposed to be a brainstorming session. We were just supposed to be talking and just figuring out how do we make this work. And what ended up happening was we ended up to like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning with like 5 Instagram lives going. We're sitting here cutting hair. We got 100 people on multiple stations, like interacting with these haircuts. And so we knew that there was a synergy that had taken place there. And so we locked in. Matt Gifted, we were talking about Space Jam. And Matt Gifted Hands had said, the Tomb Squad. He said, Tomb Squad. This is the Tomb Squad. And when he did that, we were all like everything fell silent for a minute. And then it was like super hot fire. We were like, ah. That was it, bro. That was the Tomb Squad.
Wow.
From right then, the Tomb Squad was founded, man. And that's how that started.
How did you get into doing the expos? Because let's be honest here, like I've seen you go to different expos. Like I've seen you in pictures with Dave Diggs. You mentioned him earlier. I've seen you going around doing the Clipper reviews and taking pictures. But how did you personally get into doing expos?
All right, so keep in mind, this is all going to keep coming back to character. It's going to keep coming back to like staying submitted to God and understanding that like I don't have a plan. And I can't do anything outside of myself. And so as I'm going through my career, right, I see the grace on school. I see the grace on opening a shop. I see the grace on Tomb 45. That was a huge deal for me to get that invite. That was the Bible says that a man's gift will make room for him and bring him before great men or bring him before kings, right? And so I really recognized that was the Lord had given me a gift in the industry, and I was invited. I saw the word coming true in my life. And so I just realized that there was a grace on these things. And so as I would go to Orlando Premiere, Tomb 45 let me cut on stage. And so naturally when you're cutting on stage, you're making contacts and relationships. And so I just continued to go to these shows, and I started a believer barber documentary, which is actually finished now. Like the whole thing's finished. It includes even up to, situation with my mom and everything. We just finished it like 8 months ago. We're just trying to figure out what to do with it. But, he told me to start documenting things for a documentary all the way. And as I'm going through these different shows and I'm making these relationships, it's like in 2018, after going to all these shows, I just looked around and I heard it in my voice, but I know that it was God telling me, you know, somebody's going to do this in Tennessee. And I was like, yep. And he's like, might as well be you. And I also felt like the Lord told me, if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. So, you know, if you want it, you got it. And so that was when I was like, yeah, I do want to do that. And so I'd already been following Jay. Jay was a friend of mine, Jay Majors.
Okay.
He's the owner of CT Barber Expo. He is the king of the barber battle, the king of barber expos. Like this expo culture, this, not the barber battles. I'm talking about the culture of coming together the way that we do would not be if it wasn't for Jay starting the battles in the club. Okay. The industry benefits so much off of what he's put into that. And I was already friends with him. And so I would buy a ticket to Connecticut Barber Expo. And I would say, Jay, I'm at your service, bro. What do you need? How can I help? Because I love the industry, right? I want to be a consumer. So I'm buying my ticket. I'm buying my VIP ticket. I'm getting my swag bag. But I want to help. Right. I want to be a hands-on person. And so I'm like, Jay, how can I help? And so like the first year, he's like, let me have you checking wristbands at the front door on the VIP section. And that'll kind of let you move around during the education so I can get a YouTube video. And so I'd be, you know, checking wristbands, pulling out my phone every now and then and be like, hey, what's up, y'all? It's Clean Cuts The One reporting live from CT Barber Expo. Here's the stage. Here's a couple people y'all recognize. And, you know, just little stuff like that was my reward. What I didn't realize was the experience that I was getting and the relationships that I was developing. And I also didn't realize that Jay was mentoring me from the beginning. I thought he was just being a friend. And I'm one of those people that I watch people. Whether you're going to mentor me sometimes without your permission, because I'm going to watch what you do and I'm going to look at the fruit and I'm literally going to ask you what you did. And if you tell me, I'm going to go duplicate that. Facts. You know, with your permission, with honor, all of that stuff. I ain't copying nobody. Facts. But Jay, he's one of those like, the game is to be sold, not to be told. That's not with him. Wow. He said, I got you, bro. I've seen what you come through. He said, you came through what I came through. He said, I'm going to help you, dude. If you're willing to put in the work, he said, I will give you access to the things that you need to do it. And so every year, I just went to the Connecticut Barber Expo, went to Las Vegas Barber Expo. I would buy tickets to the show. I would buy my own ticket. I would buy my own flight. One year in Las Vegas, I bought a booth for clean cut grooming products. Yep. It costs money to ship the stuff. It costs money. There's an investment, right? But once again, if you believe in yourself, you'll do whatever it takes. And so I would follow him and I would serve, dude. I don't care if it was cleaning toilets, if it was taking out trash, if it was showing people where their booths are. Whatever I had to do to help make his show successful is what I was going to do. And that's going back to the character. The posture of my heart is to be of service to this industry, to the people around me. But what that did was it granted me access to the relationships that I would need to be successful. And it gave me the hands-on experience to be able to duplicate what I did in Connecticut and Knoxville, Tennessee. And let me tell you, Connecticut's 10 times bigger than Knoxville. So the fires we're putting out in Connecticut and Vegas, I'm never going to see a fire like that in Tennessee, not for at least 5 or 6 years. But by the time I get there, I'm going to have the experience to deal with it. So it's all this divine thing of how, like, when we surrender ourselves, God just kind of says, okay, do the right thing for the right reason, and let me prune and let me take those things out of you that don't belong there. And this ain't about you. This is about me. And as long as you stay there, Tyler, I got you. So that's how the Tennessee Barber Expo came to be, is just being yielded to God, paying attention to what he's saying. And then when he puts people in front of me and doing the work, do it. Right. And here we are. Right. We're here.
Here we are. Second year in for the Tennessee Barber Expo, man. What was that first year like, though? What was the first year of throwing the expo like? I know you had to be like, your nerves had to be on edge. You know, it was it was the first. Well, was it the first, or was, because I know it was the first, right? It was the first one, and I know your nerves had to be on edge. What was that like for you?
So when following Jay and seeing how he dealt with really big fires had equipped me and prepared me to deal with whatever was to come. There was the excitement. There was the anticipation for what was about to come. There was the fear of not knowing how this is going to work out in the days leading up. But mostly, bro, I was I was really excited to see something, because the vision goes far beyond right now. And to see that this is a very big thing in seed form, to see that this is about to happen in Knoxville, Tennessee. Like they said, why didn't you do it in Nashville? Like, well, because I don't live in Nashville. I live in Knoxville. And I didn't take and take from Nashville. I took and took and took from Knoxville. And so I need to make some deposits here.
Facts.
But don't give me all the credit for that, because Jay could have had his expo somewhere else. And Jay was the one that gave me the permission to have it in Knoxville when he said, I didn't come from anywhere else. He said, I come from Hartford. He said, I'm from Hartford.
Hartford, Connecticut.
That's why I put my expo in Hartford. And so when he said that, I'm like, me too, Jay. That's me. I'm doing it in Knoxville too.
Right.
And so it was very exciting, but it wasn't none of that excitement was any type of fear-based, man, because I knew that God was involved in it. And so it's like, man, it was a very good time, man. It was exciting.
So man, that's crazy. So Jay, it sounds like Jay was like very instrumental, man, in, not, I don't want to use the word developing, but I'd say aiding, I'd say assisting, maybe coaching. Your development is accurate. He developed me to do this, and Jay is an integral part of the framework. For sure. The crazy thing is, he don't ask for nothing from it. Like, he don't say, yeah, give me 20%, nothing. He says, that's you, bro. That's you. You did this. I helped you. You did the work. You got this. Wow, man. Yeah, for sure. Shout out Jay Majors, man. Shout out Jay Majors, because it's all about the blueprint. Each one teach one, right? But tell us a little bit about the upcoming Tennessee Barber Expo. We excited for it because, we got a booth. We got a booth. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be there. Just had to throw that out there. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be there. But tell us, what can we expect, man, at the Tennessee Barber Expo? It's the second annual. What's up with these bags, bro? I heard you make a post on Instagram and you like, yo, we need bigger bags. Well, like, what y'all giving away, man? What y'all giving away up there? We want to know.
These bags are going to be crazy because this support has been so insane. So from the first show, one of the struggles was, in the first show, sometimes the companies and business is business. They don't know. It's the first show. We don't really know what you're doing. So we really started off with a couple companies supporting us, like Babyless and Squire.
Okay.
Who is Babyless and Squire affiliated with? Jay Majors. Jay Majors brought Babyless and Squire to my show. Okay? So when you bring Jay on, and you bring Babyless and you bring Squire on, everybody else knows you're serious. Right?
For sure.
Jay don't play with any of that stuff. So you got them, and you got Tomb 45. Don't forget, Tomb 45 was they said, dude, if you have an expo, we're in, whatever you need. And they still say that to this day. But they said, we don't really know if we're going to come or not. And so last year we had a great show. It was a huge show, probably had about 1,000 people. And it was just good, man. Good feedback from the vendors, good feedback from the attendees. The battle was fire. It was really good. The education was top notch. But the buzz that was generated, had people that did not attend last year's show like, oh man, I'm not missing year 2. They were wishing they pulled the trigger on year 1. Here we are, would be year 3, but COVID messed us up.
Facts.
So they're not missing this year. So we had to double our venue size to accommodate for the attendees and for the vendors that are going to be coming. We have increased everything. These swag bags, this is the first swag bag that I know of that's including a clipper. There's a new company that's yet to be named until we get to the show, and they are introducing a clipper into the industry, and they want to use our swag bags to do it.
Wow.
And they were actually going to send a trimmer. And I found out yesterday the production and all that stuff that's taking place with the supply and stuff, and they're not able to get the trimmers over here. So we have a clipper that's going to be in the bag. It was supposed to be a trimmer. My apologies about that, guys. But the clippers are here. We've got 250 of them, as well as other products that are being represented. I don't want to go down the list, but I don't know if like the bags that we have, like the biggest bags, I don't know if it's going to be big enough. So literally, I don't know how we're going to give these bags away. Maybe it'll fit in like the biggest Babyless bag that they have. I don't know how, but I'm really excited just to see the support of the companies that are saying, yeah, bro, we're sorry we missed you last year. Take care of your people with this year.
For sure.
The education is going to be good. 245, Chris Bossio, that whole gang's coming back. We've got the Marcus Harvey. He's coming in to educate for Squire. And also, this is something that we haven't announced yet as far as all of our educators and stuff like that. We have the Wall education team. We've got John Carmona, which is Titan Barber. We have Trevor Moots, Taylor Fade is coming. And we have, we've got a couple people that we're still trying to pull some people in. So nothing's finalized yet, but we do know that we have those coming. We have Jason Patridge, who is debuting his product at the show called The Hair Experience, THE. Follow him on Instagram, The Jason Patridge. And he's one of my favorite shear artists to watch work. He is just surgical and methodical with the shears. And so we've got a great education lineup. We've got a great barber battle. We've got, it's basically going to be like a scaled down Connecticut because, again, Jay gave me the blueprint. He showed me what to do, and I paid attention. So we're going to take what Jay does in Connecticut and Vegas. We're going to scale it down to fit Knoxville, Tennessee, and we're going to throw a great show, man. This ain't no barber cookout. Like I said in 2018. This ain't no barber cookout.
Straight fire. Straight fire.
This ain't no theater.
For sure, man. So what is it? October 24th and 25th?
Is it? No, it's October 24th.
October 24th.
You're watching my learning experience here. I originally advertised as October 23rd and 24th, with the night of the 23rd being the pre-party, and then the 24th being the actual event. I'm probably not going to do that next year because it's just a one-day show, and I feel like I might have created some confusion. So the date for the Tennessee Barber Expo is October 24th, 2021 at the World's Fair Exhibition Hall with the pre-party the night of the 23rd. So those are the official dates and times of the event.
Man, so hey, man, we're super excited. Like I said, it's going to be crazy. Tennessee Barber Expo. You hear me?
That's right. Yeah.
For sure.
Dude, I really appreciate this time. And, I'm not hard to reach, bro. I literally send out my phone number. You got my number now. Let's talk. Let's develop these relationships. If somebody out there is hungry and they're not about the money, they're about the character and they're about the lifestyle and stuff like that. If you want to know more about how I make myself available, like I love these relationships, bro. I'm so proud of what you're doing with Clipper Mod Detroit, bro. It's been a pleasure to watch you. You've been so consistent and you've been working so hard for such a long period of time. To see you coming from Detroit all the way to Tennessee with your own company, and you're coming bringing personalized clippers, you've got it like to where you can give them away. Like, what? It's just amazing, bro. So I just congratulate you on that. I salute you, bro. And thank you so much for having me on.
No, man. Thank you, man. So everybody, you make sure you go follow Clean Cuts the One. Go ahead and shout out all your socials, man. Go ahead and shout out all your social media.
Yeah, so, Cornball Dude, still real active on Facebook. Add me, Tyler Trotter, shoot me a message. I check my missed messages. And sometimes, depending on what y'all are talking about, I'll just add you on my Facebook and we can be like real friends instead of some of this Instagram stuff. Instagram, type in my name, Tyler Trotter, because the Instagram is Clean Cuts, the one, THA, and a number 1. 2015 was real weird, but I'm too deep to change it now. So, hashtag Believer Barber, you can find me in there. And yeah, Tune 45 is the squad all day. Be sure to check out the Power Match. Check out everything. We got so many things coming in the next 2 years. We have a product premiering at Tennessee Barber Expo. There's a lot of products coming out. But yeah, that's all the content, man. Reach out if you want to know